everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law through this channel. I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this, this is a journey of investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategic or compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. Today's video I'm going to be sharing with you an important update for tick symbol MMAT, TRCH and also MMTLP, where George Palikaras is carrying out some new action which could recover millions of dollars and also millions of dollars for shareholders. So stay tuned for that. We're also going to be looking at tick symbol RKLB, also known as Rocket Lab, and asking the question, can it hit $100 as the momentum is still exceptional? So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So if we have a look at the markets for the close of the week on Friday previous week, we can see Dow Jones was up 0.69%, S&P 500 up 0.41%, and the Nasdaq was up 0.8%. So a fairly static week, but overall going in the right direction. So we also have a huge week for earnings here, and we can see a number of important stocks being called, and the one covered in the previous video were tick symbols ARM and also SMCI. So go ahead and check those out in the previous video, as well as HIMS, and we're also going to be keeping a close eye on Millie and Airbnb. So some important dates for your diary this week: the Fed Reserve this week, we have the interest rate decision Wednesday, the FOMC statement Wednesday, and Mr. Powell will also speak Wednesday, but I'm sure there's going to be impact of election on those as well. So in terms of economic data, jobless claims is the big one that we'll be looking on Thursday, and also the Fed policy decision Thursday and consumer sentiment on Friday. Let's now have a look at RKLB. The Rocket Lab is a company that's also been featured in some of the previous videos, so go ahead and check this out. But as a reminder, this is a space company that provides launch services and space system solutions for space and defensive industries. In terms of the foundation, it was launched initially in 2006 and trades on the Nasdaq under tick symbol RKLB. So if we have a look at the chart for the previous 12 months, we can see here it is up a very healthy 169%, and it closed up 6.73% on the Friday, trading at $11.42. So it is a stock that we are looking at in terms of our weekly watch list as well this week. We can see here analysts have an overall rating for this as a buy. So certainly lots of positive sentiment about this, and what I'd like to share with you now is the income statement. And I think the revenue growth is what draws my attention. The biggest revenue growth was 21 to 22 when it jumped 239%, but the latest figure is also a very healthy 40.95%. It's not profit making, however it is getting closer to there. So expenses are still high because obviously the nature of the business does require that. But if we have a look at the balance sheet, which is necessary to be able to pay any expenses, the cash growth is 45.6%, total current assets $751 million, and total assets including the long-term assets just in excess of $1.1 billion. So certainly not at risk of significant issues with regard to any of the liabilities. And the date I'd like to share with you with regard to your diary for earnings, earnings is expected on November the 12th 2024, and not too far away, so we could see a run up. So finally the question, can it hit $100 per share? I think it potentially could in the next 3 to 5 years. One of the reasons for that is space economy is back on track to redefine industries, governments and technologies, and Rocket Lab is also poised to benefit from this transformation, and also the company is in a strong position in terms of being supported by a strong business backlog. This value of this backlog is approximately $1.1 billion. So that's certainly very positive. The company is not only launching rocket but it's also building the infrastructure necessary for a thriving industry ecosystem. So the demand is huge, and certainly the growth is huge, and in terms of the financials, we can certainly see it hitting $100. So I'm going to be sharing with you two interesting and important posts from George Palikaras. The first one here, he states, "This is a major start. This is for all of you. More will follow. Our trustee team is hiring Wes and the team as a special counsel as in terms of a strategic move. All shareholders should take the time to understand its potential impact. He is now forever thankful for their support, collaboration and commitment to see this through, and he wishes he could share more with you, so stay tuned. So positive moves here by George Palikaras, and taking on the services of Wes, who also knows the company quite well. So this is taking place in terms of the District Court of Nevada in the United States Bankruptcy Court. We can see here Meta Materials being appointed here as the debtor, and we have Wes Christian. So looking at the finer details, Christian Attar, the firm has begun already a preliminary investigation into activities relating to the merger of Meta Materials and TRCH, Torchlight Energy, and eventually that became NextBridge Hydrocarbons and MMTLP, both of which were listed on the NASDAQ. We're talking about TRCH, obviously MMTLP was on the OTC. But if we continue to look through some of this filing here, we can see under section 3, the trustee believes a retention of the counsel, i.e. Wes Christian, is necessary to represent the estate's interest in recovery for the benefit of the creditors and potentially for equity. The firms will undertake the engagement on the contingency basis of 30%. So that basically means there is no upfront fees, but they will take a commission. And the trustee requests that the law firm Christian Attar be approved by this court. Let's now move on to the second post, which I think certainly is a lot more interesting, and what George has stated here is pay attention to Exhibit A 123 QSIPs and have a great weekend. So let's have a look at Exhibit A, and it's titled here Summary of Potential Litigation. So the trustee is seeking authority to employ special counsel, we know about that, and this is with regard to suspected stock manipulation through illegal trading practices such as naked short selling and spoofing. So we all know about this, the naked short selling and the spoofing. So he's referring here in terms of the cases of MMAT and TRCH, and the defendants were engaged in persistent and extensive spoofing. So I'm sure that the references here to many of the nefarious actors that we already know about. And Christian Attar analysis identified over 55 million shares of MMAT and 92 million shares of TRCH, which were impacted by this fraudulent activity, and almost certainly many of those would have been carried through into MMTLP. So if we move on and look at this section with regard to potential for financial recovery, it states here the magnitude of manipulation indicates a potential for substantial financial recovery. Tens of millions of shares affected by this illegal activity resulted in significant financial harm to the company and the shareholders, i.e. me, you and everybody else, and this will directly benefit the creditors and the equity holders, could result in tens of millions of dollars in recovery to the estate, creditors and equity holders. And we certainly hope that happens. And moving on to the final part, the important point to note here is there will be no cost to the estate unless recovery is successful. So in the UK we call this a no win no fee case. Let's now move on to the significant impact on shareholders like ourselves. MMAT and TRCH shares not only harmed the company but also caused financial losses for shareholders, and certainly 100% true. The majority of the 65,000 plus shareholders being retail investors, i.e. the reference to the 65,000 here is the MMTLP investors previously from TRCH moved over to MMTLP. And this is interesting. It will provide recovery for the shareholders who were directly impacted by the fraudulent market activity. And finally, at the bottom, engaging the firms represents a significant opportunity for the trustee to pursue potential recovery for the Meta Materials estate, and litigation can directly benefit the creditors of the estate and shareholders. So what I would like to do is give a special thanks and acknowledgement here to George Palikaras for this important move. This is a move not only for him, his original Meta team who are with him, but also more importantly, I think, for all of the retail investors, all the people holding MMTLP, as well as the shareholders who have been harmed in Meta Materials MMAT. So this is a legal route to getting the money, and it looks like that's basically the path they have decided. And the good news is it's not going to cost any money, but the 30% will go to Christians. So hopefully the 70% is enough to provide some financial benefit to everybody else. So finally, thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.